Welcome back to another episode of Blind Boys Politics. And Chris, how are we doing today?
I'm doing amazing, Nick.
That's fantastic. Now,
Absolutely amazing.
so,
Incredible, if I may say.
I must say today, as of recording, like the day of recording this, it was an Amazon Prime Day.
My
So
favorite holiday
that
of
must have made you
the
happy.
year. Favorite holiday of the year. A lot of people say it's Christmas. No. It's Amazon Prime Day. Yep.
Yeah, guys, this kid was, raving about all the things he bought today. And
Let me explain something to you. Usually in July, when July comes around, I just transfer all the money that I think I'm going to spend to my savings account. Well, as you know, July got canceled. It got moved to today. So what did I do? I did the same thing Monday night because it was Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday, I had terrible internet and stuff like that, so I wasn't able to shop that much. I did order one thing. Today, the Hail Mary broke loose. I spent money like there's no tomorrow. All my Christmas shopping is done on October 15th.
I don't know whether to be impressed, scared, or sad.
No, you better be impressed that I have all my Christmas shopping done.
2 gifts, guys. 2.
Well, for other people, but 2 expensive ones.
Well, yeah. Not one for me.
There's meaning gifts in there, and then a lot of gifts for myself. Nick, he didn't
Merry
like me having a
Christmas to me.
14-foot chainsaw. He didn't like me having a nail gun. Well, guess what? I got saws. I got impact guns. I got the whole 9 yards now, Nick.
Amazon, please, we've discussed this. Why are you allowing this child to buy these things? Don't trust him. I'm locking every door. I'm replacing every window with bulletproof glass.
Did you not Friday when those packages get here? It will be a Christmas morning for me.
I'm scared. I'm terrified. But, yeah, I don't know where else to go with that. I'm just going to run and hide. Guys, if you don't hear from me for a while, it's because I'm hiding out in a Scandinavian jungle.
Or you're dead.
Or I'm dead.
So, yeah. So, all in all, today's a good day. Amazon Prime Day. Me and Nick had a great discussion earlier. Cried a little bit, laughed a little bit. And I decided, you know what, Nick? Let's get to the news.
Yeah, let's do it, because we got some stuff to cover today.
So let's just jump right in with a planned kidnapping for ransom with the Michigan governor to take over Michigan. Yeah, you heard me right.
I know it's bad to laugh at this because it actually was a serious thing, but just hearing this out loud is like...
It's hard to believe.
It's hard to believe that this is actually real, because this is something you hear out of something like Criminal Minds.
Or another country.
Or that.
But nevertheless, there's 13 men being charged for, the planned kidnapping of the Michigan governor. It's been reported that they stalked her at her vacation home, and they had a plan to cause a big explosion that would create a distraction while they kidnapped her, because there would be the distraction by law enforcement of figuring out what this was. They would kidnap her, hold her for ransom, take over Michigan. Now the scary part about this is they actually had the power to do it.
Yeah, according to the FBI, they had all of the resources necessary to pull this off. This wasn't just like some people talking some BS. They actually had the plan, the resources, everything they needed to actually pull this off.
Now, Nick, the most scariest part about this is that they did have like the resources available. I think that's the scariest part. It's not, like you said, just people talking. They actually had a plan, and they had meetings like regularly, and they would use special words on social media phrases, stuff like that on social media, to alert the others that there would be a meeting. Now, this meeting, it was in a basement of a store where the staircase to get down to it was covered up. So if you've never been there before, you didn't know that place, you wouldn't have even known that was the staircase.
That's like to think about the fact that they were actually sending secret like codes and phrases and stuff through just open social media and actually pulling this off and came as close as they did to pulling this off. That's actually slightly terrifying because
I
it
can,
just it shows like what people are actually capable of, and it just shows even more how unstable things are getting in this country right now.
the story, it isn't a fresh story. It ain't brand new. I mean, it's still ongoing. That's why we're talking about it, but it's not a brand new story. And when this story first broke, I think I texted you. I was like, I can't believe this.
Yeah, there are no words to
Because you're right, this
explain
is
how to
like something
feel.
out of Criminal Minds.
It is like you don't typically hear about these types of things in this country. You know, I mean, the last one I can think of, and I'm probably wrong about, this being the last one, but the last one I can think about is the Timothy McVeigh one. The Timothy McVeigh situation. That wasn't a kidnapping though. That was a bombing. But
Um, so now that the governor is safe, she's pointing fingers at the president of the United States, President Donald Trump. She's saying that he is the reason that we are so divided, why these people are lashing out, the reasons why the spread of COVID-19 is the way it is. He's divided our country.
now, I don't want to overstep my boundaries as far as opinions go, but all I'll say here is really. That's all I have. That's all I can say. This whole thing is just so outlandish. It's so insane to think about. It's so insane to realize that this is actually a true story and that it's actually like real and it's happening and it almost succeeded. Just, there are no words. But that's not even all, because there have been reports that have come out that the Virginia governor was also targeted. Now, these aren't confirmed reports as of the time of recording, but they have been decently strong reports, and we're waiting to see if they're actually, if anything actually comes out confirming this.
No, an hour ago from recording this, there was also something said about the Ohio governor was also potentially going to be targeted in this. Like Nick said, none of this is completely confirmed yet, so we're not going to get into details about that. That's just what's being thrown out there right now. I'm sure once things are confirmed or disproven, we'll let you know.
But overall, just crazy, crazy story.
Now let's get into everyone's favorite story.
It
Stimulus.
doesn't go away, does it? It just will remain in this show forever, won't it?
Well, the president was tweeting, "Go big or go home." Well, despite of him saying "Go big or go home," looks like the Senate has a different story. They are not agreeing with the "go big" part of that.
No, no. They're looking for more of a targeted stimulus plan. Um, Now, exactly what that means, Chris, would you like to inform us?
Well, let me tell you what that means. That means there is currently no specifics, so we're not really sure the price tag of this
Yeah.
yet. So to answer your question, we don't have a clue what that technically means. We do know what's included into it. It's a smaller scale of the original, so it will include PPE loans, healthcare, schools, unemployment, and quote-unquote economic assistance. Hence, stimulus, the amount, don't know. But we do know one thing for sure: it won't be the $1.8 trillion number that the White House proposed, and it won't be the $2.2 trillion plan that the House has passed. So we know that for sure.
So, in
So
other words, what we're saying here is that now there's even more separation because now none of the three pieces to this whole project are in agreement. The House, the White House, the House of Representatives, the White House, and the Senate are all on different pages.
what should be passed now? The House is back in session October 19th, and the plan is to put this bill through immediately to potentially pass, but the likelihood of this passing very slow. So let's all just get on board of the roller coaster and just ride this out once again.
Yeah, I just we've seen so many plans and so many potential ideas for stimulus plans over the past months. Like I said, it's a never ending segment of this show. I swear it should be included as its own special segment in the show from now on. It might as well be.
Imagine the roller coaster. You know the noise that it makes when you're going up, 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 up. So the up, up, up part is they have a bill. It's being proposed, going up, 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 up. The very peak of it is it being passed, or not being passed. The very peak of it is going to a vote. And then you know when you drop down, like that, you know that noise where everyone's screaming. That is when it does not pass. Okay, that's the roller coaster effect that we've been going on
The
since
screams,
August.
the screams are the people just tearing each other's throats out because no one is on the same page anymore. No one.
So that's where we are right now. We're at the up part. October 19th, or a few days after that, we'll be at the peak of it, and then most likely.
Then we're just waiting for the screams.
Now, should we move into some other news, Nick?
Oh boy. Let's do it.
Our president, Donald Trump, has been medically cleared to go to rallies once again. His doctor is saying he's no longer contagious, and he has tested negative for COVID-19. So there's that.
Yeah, well, it goes beyond this. He said he's been immune for a very long time. And yeah, well, I mean, at the time of recording, it's been less than 2 weeks since he was even released from the hospital. Less than 2 weeks since he even went to the hospital.
So that brings up questions in its own, and everyone's going to have their own ideas, ideologies of that, of what's going on there. We really don't know because of HIPAA, and we talked about that. But now, to throw another wrench into the road is his son, Barron Trump, tested positive for COVID-19. Now, if he came in contact with him, is his doctor going to say, you can't go to rallies? Or is his doctor just going to let him go? And, that brings up questions of its own. How's that going to happen?
Yeah, that it turns into a pretty sticky situation, and honestly, I don't know if we're gonna get the answers to any of those things, straight up, because
there's a lot of what if questions that do arise with that situation.
Chris, it seems that in general in the political field lately, whether it be stimulus or this situation, there's just endless what ifs.
We
It's a
love
what if.
ifs.
It's a what if game. It's a what if central.
And as news reporters, you can't give your what if answer to that, so you have to leave those what ifs there.
Which it's painful, mind you.
Sometimes it can be a little bit, especially if you have opinions about that. But again, you can't just say your opinions because then it's not reporting, then it's opinion journalism.
Fun times. Guys, the lives of news reporters.
But that's your little history lesson on a news reporter. Let's move into the 2020 census. Ended yesterday early.
Oh. And it was because the Supreme Court ruled in the Trump administration's favor in ending the census immediately. Just immediately.
Now, this was a court case, so the plaintiff wanted an extension on the time that they would have time to count it, and the Trump administration said no, it needs to end early so we can meet our deadline of December 31st. Now, ultimately, because Nick just said it, the Supreme Court ruled in the Trump administration's favor.
So, if you're kind of wondering what the census exactly entails, maybe you don't know, to give a kind of a brief description of it, the Constitution mandates that every 10 years, every person in the United States must be counted. This is essentially used, and its importance is to determine how many representatives each state will get in the House. And it also will determine how much money is distributed from the federal government to each state.
So that the ruling in this, I find it kind of interesting, actually. This is a very polarizing issue. Many people are saying they're happy with the outcome. Many are saying they're not. I'm kind of curious what a lot of people are thinking about that.
Well, you gotta imagine that it would have very split opinions depending on where people stand in the political field, because there are some people that really do care about politics, and they really do care about their state's voice in the federal government. So if that census is ended early, it could potentially screw up their state's numbers,
Right.
Number of people counted, which screws up their representatives.
Especially with a delay in start and then ending early. So, there's that. But that's what the Supreme Court ultimately ruled, so it ended yesterday. So if you didn't do your census and you planned on doing it, sorry, you can't do it.
Out of luck. Out of
Better
time,
luck
out of
in
luck.
10 years. See you in 2030, people.
Yeah. I have somehow I have a feeling that this case is going to come back sometime soon, though. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. With it being such a polarizing case, there could potentially be problems, but that's speculation, so we'll move on from that before we get too deep into that.
Let's move into celebrity news, Nick.
Yeah, because Conchata Ferrell has passed away.
She is best known for playing a role on the hit CBS comedy show 2.5 Men. She was Berta, most famously known for being Charlie Harper's housekeeper, and then later seasons changing that up. But that's what she's most famous for. She appeared in over 200 episodes of the show, but she has unfortunately passed away, and it wasn't a very easy passing.
So she passed Monday in the Sherman Oaks Hospital. Back in December of 2019, she was hospitalized for a kidney infection. Then she was in the ICU for a few days, then brought home after that for PT several times a day. In May, she had more problems. She ended up having a massive heart attack and spent several weeks in the ICU. This included her even going into cardiac arrest for 10 minutes. Following that, she was transported to a long-term care facility on respirators and dialysis, and she was unable to speak or communicate with anyone.
And close friends and family want everyone to know that her husband was alongside of her the entire time. in constant contact with the nurses, but unfortunately, with the current global pandemic, with hospital rules, that friends and family was unable to go visit her.
Now, this, of course, it's an unfortunate passing. She was very, very famous actress who did some great work. And,
I mean, she started acting in 1957, so she was a very well-known actress, and just the way that she passed away, it's just so
it's
tragic.
horrible.
It's sad when anyone passes, but when you can't have family visiting and things like that, that just makes it even worse.
Yeah, it's tragic. When you have to think about the unfortunate, situation of death, you want your family to be with you. You want those that you care about, those that you love by your side to the very end. And of course, like we said, with the pandemic and everything going on, that really messed with that and really didn't allow for it at all. And of course, it's even more tragic in the sense that, there are certain celebrities that work their way just into the people's memories. And of course, since she's been acting since the 50s, she's going to be very well known. She found herself in pretty huge roles and just did a lot of great work as an actress. So, she's going to be very well remembered, and in turn, she's going to be very much missed.
And of course, the people that she starred with on Two and a Half Men, they all went to their social medias and posted pictures and, their loving thoughts to their family, her family.
Tragic
But
passing.
she'll be missed. It's very sad. She was one of my favorites on that show because I watch that show just about every night. It's just such a good show that you can watch time and time and again. But moving into some lighter news.
Yeah,
The
Apple
iPhone 12.
Apple has released the iPhone 12, or they're about to anyway.
Hold on, Nick. Before you start telling me all the information about the iPhone, because we both know that I am diehard Apple. Since when do we do tech news?
Well,
Let me tell you, we cover all news. Just because politics, unfortunately, sometimes take over it. When we can, we will be talking, we talk about celebrity news and we also will talk about tech news if it's big enough stories.
exactly. We are here for all news, despite politics being in the name of our show. We are here for all types of news, whether that be celebrity, tech, natural disasters,
Now,
anything.
now,
We're
that being said, since it seems like our main focus is on politics, we still cover the other things, but we won't cover that Tim Cook bought a new car. That's just not a big enough story.
yeah, it's not really something that we feel deserves to be put out there.
There's so much going on. We have to pick and choose, and that we just went
Tim
with
Cook's
the top
car
of
is
the list.
not.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
as much as I would love to talk about Tim Cook, we don't have the time. And maybe someday we'll be able to get to 6 days a week upload, but right now we're not there.
Yeah, we're not quite at that level yet. We're not quite that
Who
level of
knows? In
mastery.
6 months, I could be talking about Tim Cook's car for 2 hours. Who knows?
Well, until that day comes, let's just focus on the news we have here, the more important stuff. So let's get into some of the specifics with the iPhone 12 and what it'll entail. So this year, Apple has decided to release 4 different models of the iPhone 12. We will have the 12 mini, the normal 12, the 12 Pro, and the 12 Pro Max. The two 6.1-inch display phones, which are the 12 and the 12 Pro, you will be able to pre-order those on a Friday or the day that this episode is released. And then they will be in stores October 23rd. Now, the 12 mini and the 12 Pro Max will be available for order on November 6th. And they'll be available in stores November 12th.
Now let's talk about prices. Let's talk about colors. Because prices is where it's at. The iPhone 12 mini is starting at $699. The iPhone 12 is $799. The iPhone 12 Pro, $999. The iPhone Pro Max, $1,099. Now,
I
before
do.
I say colors, I love Apple. But when I saw the prices of these phones, I almost had a miniature heart attack. So that's my opinions right there. Let's talk about colors. The iPhone mini and the regular 12, it comes in white, black, blue, green, red. And then the Pro and the Pro Max come in graphite, silver, gold, and Pacific blue.
Why am I a fan of the blue?
I honestly like the green. I'm kind of sad that the rumors aren't true about orange, because if there was orange, I would so buy that.
I feel like orange would turn out terrible, though. There's
Why?
just some.
Their Apple Watch band that's orange is one of their best sellers.
Okay, that's fair, but I don't know. There's a difference between the band itself and the phone, and I
No,
just
there's not. Not
don't
in
know.
my book. My old bedroom is neon orange, okay?
Lovely.
So that's all we have for political news, celebrity news, and tech news this week. Let's get into some dumb laws, shall we?
Oh boy, let's have some fun. Chris, you may go first this time around, sir.
So my dumb law this week is, in Kansas, hitting a vending machine that stole your money is illegal.
I love this law.
Is that the one that you have?
No,
Oh.
no. I love this law though because I can imagine it happening. I can imagine myself doing it if I'm being honest.
I've done it before.
Like, I mean, I guess I understand because it's destruction of property, but at the same time, it's just hilarious to think that this is actually a law.
Why? First of all. Second of all, like, how many arrests are done yearly because someone smashed a
How many police
vending
cameras or
machine?
policemen are watching the vending machines in Kansas? Probably
We
more than
got
we
questions.
think.
Kansas, call me.
Probably more than we think because honestly, what's in Kansas? Who's
Who
committing
knows?
crimes in Kansas?
Who really knows? So that gives us questions. Nick, what's your dumb one? Enlighten me.
These always give us so many questions that just cannot be answered. But as for my law in Alabama, it's illegal to drive blindfolded. Yeah. So any of you who ever dreamed of having the experience to drive blind, don't go to Alabama. They don't like it.
You might take out an animal.
You might just get I don't know, pulled over, but just a thought, and it's only in Alabama. It totally isn't illegal anywhere else.
The question is, why does it need to be a law?
I can imagine someone actually trying this though, especially if they had a long night of drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or if they've
I'm
been
shaking my
watching
head
those
because
who don't get the.
I'm really trying to picture someone driving blindfolded. I
Well,
see them in a Ford. I don't know why. A Ford pickup truck driving. If you're gonna drive blindfolded, drive down a dirt road.
Yeah, right. Dirt
Take
roads of
the.
Alabama.
Oh Jesus. So Nick, when I see an opportunity arise, I like to take that opportunity. I'm going to advertise a new show that's coming November 4th, and that show is we're going to be talking about some dumb laws.
Yeah, that's right. So, of course, we've had this dumb law segment as part of our main news show for quite some time now, but we figured why not take it up a notch? With the failed elections coming to a close, with election day approaching, we decided to, just put a little more research into these dumb laws. Usually, with this segment, we just kind of present it and give our thoughts and have a laugh and be confused. But with this new show, like I said, we wanted to take a step further. So, Chris, why don't you tell us what that'll entail?
So with the new show, the plan is we're going to visit all 50 states, new state every week, and we're going to pick a dumb law. We're going to talk about when it was passed, and if it's still a law. And then, unfortunately, there will still be a lot of questions, but maybe we'll have some closure based on the time it was passed.
And, maybe we'll even go a little further to answer some of those extra questions.
We'll try, Nick, but I've started the research, and some of it is very vague. Especially the laws dating back to the 1800s.
Sounds like fun. But make sure to watch out for that new segment that'll be coming pretty much right after Election Day, like we said, November
Theater
4th.
near you, November 4th.
The day we make into theaters here, this is the day that elephants fly.
Elephants are flying November 4th?
Evidently.
You heard it here, folks.
Elephants fly
Okay,
now.
so routine here, we have our news, we have dumb laws, now we have good news. This week's good news is there is this man that is elderly, and he needed wheelchair accessibility in and out of his house. And this came to one of his neighbors' attention when he found out that he was starting to miss doctor's appointments that he needed to be to because he had no way to get out of his house. So him and a couple other neighbors, they took the weekend and they surprised him and built him a handicap ramp so he can get in and out of the house to go to his doctor's appointments, go grocery shopping, whatever he needs to do. But they built him like a really nice handicap ramp, and the man was very grateful and bought them lunch. So that just kind of returned it. I think it's a very, that's kind of a good story.
Yeah, so this is one of those stories where it's, it's not really too, it doesn't seem too large when you just, simply talk about what happened. When you think about it, this is another one of those stories that's just really deep, and it's very impactful in the sense that it just shows people actually just doing basic kind deeds for one another.
It's not about the size of the act, it's about the act itself. This man, it probably made his week, it probably made his month. It's the simple things that you can do to really make a change.
Well, if you put yourself in the shoes of that man, it's got to be frustrating beyond belief. You're stuck in a wheelchair, you don't have a ramp or any other way to get out of your house, you're missing doctor's appointments, you can't go out anywhere, you're stuck in your house. The frustration has to be pretty overwhelming after a while. It has to build up after a while. So to just have that surprise just come at you one weekend from your neighbors, I mean, it's pretty huge.
It is. It's a good, it's just a great story. It's heartwarming. It probably made his month. Now he can go in and out of his house whenever he wants.
He can have his life back.
Exactly. And that's a great gift in itself to give to someone. But that is the end of this week's Friday episode. Tomorrow morning we'll have a recap of what the hell happened Thursday with the town halls of presidential candidates town halls, since the debate was canceled. We'll talk about that Saturday morning.
Yeah, we'll get into more of the details then because, oh dear,
it's still very fresh in our minds right now, so we don't have too many details to give you.
Yeah.
And then Monday morning news. Wednesday, one of our last failed elections, and then we'll be here again Friday morning.
So that's the outlook of the next week. Pretty straightforward, pretty pretty close to schedule, but it should be a good week for content, and we can't wait to see you guys there with us every step of the way.
follow us on Twitter. All the links to me, Nick, and Amina will be down below. And of course, the podcast's Twitter account will be down below. So give us a follow.
Other than that, that's about it from us, guys. So we will
See you
see
tomorrow morning.
you guys tomorrow morning. See you guys.